All right. Well, good morning, Rotary District 7770, and welcome to Conversations with Rotary Action People for Monday, March 22nd. My name is Donald Hovis, and I'm your CWRAP host, and I'm from the Chicora Rotary Club in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Today is going to be all things Shelterbox, and joining us from Summerville, South Carolina, member of the Summerville Rotary Club. Let's give a warm CWRAP welcome to Herman Dixon. Sir, we're glad to have you.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Appreciate that applause. And it's always a great honor to be among Rotarians, and always a great honor to speak about Shelterbox.
Well, great. In just a moment, you can share your screen after we do some brief announcements and let everyone post something in the chat box. So, introducing your CWRAP team. She's sporting a brand new CWRAP shirt, everybody. Check that out. From the 5 Points Rotary Club in Columbia, Mary Gask. Good morning, Mary. Thank you for getting those. And I look forward in wearing them when I get them, which I guess will be for the next CWRAP program next week. Now, if you are a president-elect for the upcoming year, this is part of your extended president-elect training. Herman did speak to us on CWRAP maybe back in May or so. So this will be recorded today, but you can also visit YouTube and find his previous speech as well. Herman is very knowledgeable about Shelterbox, and this will be a very informative presentation. So, president-elects and anybody on the line, chat box, your name, your Rotary Club. If you are a president-elect, we want to know that. And then the first day of spring was a couple days ago. The sunshine is finally back out here in South Carolina. Finally, right? So what's your favorite part about spring? Is it the blooming azaleas? Is it you can sit outside and eat? What's your favorite part of the spring? Do you have a favorite place to go in the spring? Do you go to the Masters? There's all kinds of things you could say. So, Herman, I know you're going to want to share your screen, and I'll turn it over to you, sir.
All right. Let me see if I can get this cranked up here. Hold on just a second. Just a minute here. I've got to get, let's see, just a second here. I'm having one little difficulty, so just bear with me just a minute. This is a new computer. I'll talk while I'm going through. This is a new computer that I have here, and now let's see if I can share that now. I'll see if that's up here. Well, for some reason that's not coming up. So hold on. Oh, here. I see. Here it is. All right, now let's see if this will do here. All right, just a second. Let's bring this to the front. Let's see. Now, can you see that?
It's coming up. Looks like it's coming up.
All right. Let's see. Hold on just a second. Let me see. Play slideshow. All right. Can you see that now?
I just have a black screen on my end. Does anybody else see it?
Nope,
it's black.
Let's see here. Hold on a second. Well, do you see anything now? Nope.
No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
Well, it says where I'm screen sharing. So hold on just a second here. Let me stop share. Might just have to do might just have to talk here. So hold on a second. It's not doing anything, huh? Okay, just 1 second here. Well, let's see here. Well, I don't know what in the world.
Are you using PowerPoint or Google Drive or Google?
I'm using my Keynote on this one. So, but it I should be okay. I've just tested this out, and it was. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Let's see. All right. Let's see now. Let's see. Let's see if this works now here. Crap. Let's see. It says I'm screen sharing. You don't see anything at all?
Still black.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll tell you what, I can do this if I can do this without the just have a few slides on there anyway, because this is a totally different presentation than what I normally give, and I'll have to find out what's wrong with my new computers. I said this is a new computer. My old Mac that I bought in 2013 went out. I worked with Apple the help to try to get things going. They said they couldn't. They came back and told me my computer was ancient. And it's just 2013. So when I finished, I rushed to a mirror and I took a good look. And I said, my Lord, if they consider something 2013 ancient, what do you consider someone who's in his 7th decade of life? So I guess you've got a multi ancient person here that's giving a presentation today. One thing I want to say to your new president-elects is that, first of all, I want to congratulate you on being recognized by your club for your leadership potential, and secondly, for accepting the opportunity. That's the big thing. So I encourage you to seize the opportunity that you have and engage your members in meaningful work and build your club's brand, not only in your community, but also within the Rotary world. No project that's done and undertaken is really meaningless because someone benefits from the work that is being done. So again, thanks for your commitment to the great organization that we all know as Rotary. Was asked to give you a little bit of education about Shelterbox, so I'll give that. And I do apologize for the issues I had with the PowerPoint presentation, but I only had like 5 or 6 slides that I was going to show anyway, as I was going through to talk a little bit about it. But so I'm going to take this from a standpoint that no one knows anything about what Shelterbox is. And quite frankly, what it is a cutting edge charity that hand delivers, and that's a big issue right there, hand delivers emergency shelter to families that have been devastated by natural disaster and conflict. And Shelterbox is also Rotary's strategic partner in disaster relief. Back in 2020, that partnership was renewed for another 3 years with Rotary. And I hope that you did get to see that article that was put out on the My Rotary, and also if there was some mention in several of the last Rotary magazines. One thing good about projects, I mentioned no project is ever meaningless. Shelterbox actually started as a Rotary project. There was a Rotary club in Cornwall, England, the Helston Lazard Club. It's 1999. They were looking at a millennial project, and so they did some investigation, and they found out that there was virtually no one that was providing emergency shelter. So they got together as good Rotarians do. And they thought about what they might provide, and they came up with a tent and some cookware and lighting and blankets and several different things, and that they thought that disaster that a family in disaster would need, and so they got all these things together, including a tent that they would have, and they said, well, how in the world can we put all this in bags? Bags going to be too big, too heavy. So one of the members said they had a big box in their storage area down at their office, and they got it, brought it back, and got everything to luckily fit into that. And so then they said, well, what can we call this? And somebody came up with a bright idea. We'll call it Shelterbox. And so the Lazard Club was able that year to meet their millennial goal. They helped, actually had a goal of helping 10 families. They helped 15 families that year. And then in 2000, because the Shelterbox came on not only in Europe, but also throughout the Rotary world, it was set up as a separate entity. And we just completed the 20 years of the Shelterbox work in the world is the end. So we're in our 21st year right now. Just a couple of things to point out that Shelterbox has supported over 1.7 million people around the world in the 20 years. We've been in over 100 countries, from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. We've responded to over 300 disasters. some of the countries we've been in more than once. For example, the Philippines, who seems to have all kinds of issues. We've been in for the Philippines 31 times since 2004. And in fact, we've been there so much that Shelterbox has set up a separate operation right there in the Philippines. Syria is one of the problem areas in the world. I know that you may or may not have seen things that come about that, but that is our longest response. Been there since 2012. We have helped in excess of 60,000 households there, and that seems to be still really moving very forward as a huge issue on it. Right now, one of the other things that is growing that we are working with is the fact about people being displaced by conflict. That is one of the growing things that happens in the world. There's around 80 million people that have been displaced due to conflict. And in fact, right now, 25 people every minute are forced from their homes due to some type of conflict. So that is that's a growing thing that we're really working very hard to be focused on. Our shelter box, some of the things that we do provide for families are things like a tent. The tents will vary. We have 5 different tents that vary based on where they would go because of climate needs. We have cooking sets, pots, pans, spoons, dishes, cups, all the things that they would need there. Coverings that they can put on the ground, blankets. We have water systems. We have solar lights. We have things for the kids. We even have a repair kit that was put together in 2014. One of the things that we're always looking to try to get taken care of is the improvement on the various items we have. And one of the things we found out from the people that we have served when we go back in, they told us that the lights didn't last very long. So now we improved those, and they're 24-hour lights. We are always looking at improving the water system. So we have gotten those improved. They said they needed something sometimes, as will happen just from wear and tear to be able to repair things or do some normal work around the place where the shelter tents have been put up and so forth. And so we came up with a kit that has in it things like hose and hammers, and it has pliers, and it has wire, and it has other things that they can use to repair the tent or do some work around. So we're always looking to try to do things a little better for people that we serve. One of the questions that I often get is about the distribution centers that Shelterbox has around the world. Currently, we have 3 main distribution centers. One is in Belgium, one is in Dubai, and one is in Panama. And so we are able to depending on where the issue comes up, we're able to address that from those 3 locations. There are some other things that we do use from time to time, depending upon the need and so forth. But those 3 areas are the big things that we do have. We're also asked I'm also asked sometimes about how we get the equipment around the different parts of the world. And several years ago, we bought the world's largest cargo plane, and it is huge. That was one of the photos that I had that I wanted to show you, and it is quite a large airplane. I'm amazed that it even gets off the ground when it gets in the air. But that But that plane does carry quite a bit of our equipment and boxes and supplies to those needed areas. In fact, it was used in one of our first distributions. Wasn't quite as full, but carried 143 boxes to a Pakistan area when we responded to one of our first disasters, and it was a big earthquake in that area. So we make good use of that to get that out. Some of the other things that you might find interesting is last year, in fact, during COVID, we were actually responded in over 13 countries last year, which impacted over 200,000 people. And some of the areas where people, particularly in conflict and some of the other disasters, they get into shelters. And one of the big issues that the world has experienced, COVID, when people get together, that's not good. So the ability for us to supply a lot of shelter tents for people so that families could go out and be displaced away from being in a mass area with other people has been a great benefit, and it has gone a long way to keep the COVID down in a lot of the areas of the world that don't have the same great benefits that we have here in the United States. Let's see. One of the other questions that I often get is, you talk a lot about the countries, but what about the United States? Well, we have helped here in the United States. We were asked by FEMA to come in when Katrina hit. As you know, that was pretty devastating here in the United States. Hurricane Sandy, we have done that. And then when they had the tornadoes in Oklahoma, we were asked to come in and provide a lot of assistance in those areas. So we've done that. One of the reasons that you don't hear more about things in the United States is that we do have organizations like FEMA, and our country does respond to natural disasters many times on state levels, as it does on a federal level. There are a lot of agencies that provide places for people to live, and other things that we might provide for them. So there's really not a real use for our services in that end. We just don't, if a country or an area has something that comes up, we just don't show up on the doorstep and say, well, Shelterbox is here, and let's get to work. That's not how it works. We've got to be asked to come in, and some of the things that we look at are, has the government responded and such that they've declared a state of emergency in the area? How many families needed to be helped? We normally like to set a tentative goal around at least 200 families that have to be helped in an area before we're there. And then again, as I mentioned, is our aid appropriate? That's why I mentioned FEMA. They really do a lot of things that we would do for people. We also look at the local capacity. We look at things like the speed of self-recovery that families have. Will they be able to recover themselves, or are there certain infrastructures like hospitals or road systems and other things that they have? Here in the United States, when you do have a hurricane, a tornado, you have a homeowner's insurance, you have flood insurance. You have those things to rebuild. A lot of places don't do that. So we look at that. We look at the length of time the support is needed, how safe it is. Even our own Rotarians in the polio effort, we've seen some things against that issue, and tragically we've had some loss of life in that area. So we always look for the safety of our folks who are deployed do that as well. And there's also, we also use this SPEAR handbook, which outlines the vulnerability criteria and response standards that many of the humanitarian organizations use, like the UN or UNICEF or Red Cross, in that area. And also, we also take a look at the countries and their state of involvement. Whether they're suffering from deprivation or despair outside of a disaster, because there are some countries that have had issues before that devastation came about. One of the other things about Shelterbox, and I said the hand deliver, is we truly do that, we've it's funny, you can see people who will be when they come to a distribution center where we are, they can bring carts, bicycles. We've had to put things on boats and go into certain places. We've had caravans where we've taken through the jungle, where we've had to really cut our way through the jungle and pass and carry those in. And where it's totally isolated, we've even used helicopters to carry the supplies to the people. So it's quite interesting what's been done on getting the care into the people during times that they have. One of the other things that we had to deal with is that, as I said about the innovations that we put in about going in, we do a really good job of just not taking things in and dumping them and leaving them. We help people to really understand what to do. Just putting up those tents, I will tell you right now, putting up a shelter tent is really a chore, and it can't be done by one person. And depending on the size, sometimes it takes 5 or 6 people to get those things up. So we work with people to be sure they understand how to use all the tools and how to do all the things that we have, and then we try to find out, again, what they feel like we need to do to make things better, and we make those changes pretty quickly. And that's one of the things that I really cherish about being a part of this organization is that they are really focused on the people and trying to help them. We decided long ago that we were going to stay true to our mantra of addressing the issues of emergency shelter, because there's a lot of places that provide medical help. There's a lot of places that provide food and so forth. So we're staying what we're good at, and thus we become noted throughout the world as the world's premier deliverer of emergency shelter in times of challenge to folks. One of the goals that we have with Shelterbox is that we want to be in a situation that we can reach at least 1 million people annually. The need is there for that, so that's what we're striving to do. But that takes it takes a lot of assistance to get that thing done, because those boxes that you see back there, to fill one of those boxes is $1,000. So that's not cheap. And if you go in to an area where you're addressing 200, 300, 400, 500, or a couple thousand people, you can see that the cost of that is not inexpensive. Plus, the cost of getting our deployment people out there and doing their thing. So it does, it does take, an effort of working not only with great Rotary clubs and Rotarians, but also corporations and foundations to make that a real reality. A couple of other things that I'm really proud of about Shelterbox is that in 2018 and 19, we were nominated for Nobel Peace Prizes for our work, particularly in the Syria area and some of the other areas that have been prone to conflict. And our foundation has the same high rating as our own Rotary Foundation. So it's 4-star Charity Navigator and platinum level on GuideStar. So it's the monies that do come in are utilized in the in the right manner and go a long way to do the things that it needs to do. In a given time frame, there I will point out, people ask me about people that are involved on a regular basis. We have over 1,000 volunteers right now and 120 paid professional staff globally. So you can see that that's not a huge number of people there. In fact, we just consolidated and moved in the United States to Shelterbox USA. We're out in Santa Barbara now. We did have an office in Florida, but we decided to merge that into just one office out in Santa Barbara. We had one in Santa Barbara, we had one in Florida, but now we just have the one office in Santa Barbara that handles that. So that was a little bit of cost reduction that the Shelterbox put in there. As far as the value to Rotary, as you know, our organization addresses many disasters throughout the world on a regular basis. In fact, a lot of the countries that we go into where there is a Rotary Club, that's one of the first things that we do is work with those Rotary Clubs because they have a good handle on where the immediate need for the most tragically impacted people are, and that's a big guide on that process. And where there is not a Rotary Club that we do work with, then we do try to get the local officials there to find out so that we can be sure that the aid that we initially have goes to the folks most prominently in need out there in the areas that are impacted. I've been affiliated with Shelterbox since back in the early 2000s, right after information got out. One of the clubs that I was a part of, I was trying to remember if I was in West Virginia or Maryland or Virginia or some at that time, but I got got involved going out and not only became a contributor but also doing some programs, and then when I retired, we moved to back to South Carolina. I was up in Virginia Beach at a leadership, a zone leadership event, and someone there at the Shelterbox table recognized me and called me over and did a little bit of arm twisting, very little, to get me back involved in it. And next thing I know, it's like these things when you miss a meeting, you find out you're president of the club. Next thing I know, they had me responsible for pretty much all of Zone 33, of trying to coordinate that. And right now in my entire area, I have fewer than 20 people that's actively working, because it had been down, not been worked, I guess, or we've not built the brand, Shelterbox brand, as well as we could in this area for quite a few years. So we're attempting to do that again. And I've been reaching out in some of my old contacts to try to do that. I guess been a member of now 12 clubs in nearly 46 years as a Rotarian. You do make a few contacts along the way. So I've been twisting a few arms some very hard, but I have got some folks that are in there. It's a great organization. It is a great story. It is a tremendous need. It is and that exists in the world, and like I say, unfortunately, in some of the areas, it's growing, and we never know when devastation is going to hit. But it's good to also have a working relationship with an organization that we all love in Rotary. And one of my dreams is, that I'd like to see every Rotary club in Zone 33 at least commit to sponsoring one box a year. It's $1,000. Now, that's it may sound like a lot, but it's not. But it goes a long way to making a difference in the lives of people. And you can just think about it. Just think about your home right now. Put that in your mind. Think about your home, and what if all of a sudden everything that you had was just flat and there was nothing there. You had nothing but the clothes on your back, nowhere to go, and nothing to do. That's what a lot of these folks in these areas have. And even here in the United States, where we've helped, that's been a peril that those folks have gone through too. So that devastation is out there. And as the great service organization that we have, it's good that you have a team like Shelterbox and Rotary that's able to meet the demands that are ever pressing, and also be in a position to make a difference in the lives of people who really need help the most. And that, unfortunately, as I said, that picture seems to be growing too large right now. So we'd like to see a world of no issues, but that's not what it is. But with the great work of Shelterbox and a partnership with Rotary, I feel that we can really make a difference in the lives of people who need the help the most. Okay, so
Herman, let me jump in. Get a drink of water. Take a break. That was a lot of information in a short amount of time. So,
right,
we have some questions in the chat box, but before I get those answered to you, I posted a link in the chat box that goes to the Shelterbox USA, to partner with us in the Rotary. It's a link to the website. So there's a lot of information there for people. But I got 4 or 5 questions here. What I will say is, folks on the line, if you have a question, please post it in the chat box at this time. Let's see here. So you mentioned you're over Zone 33, but we're talking about our district here for these questions. How many of our district clubs send money to purchase shelter boxes?
Okay, so far we've had 8 clubs that I know of that have contributed this year, or during this Rotary year that we're in right now, that ends in June 30.
Are the same items in each box, or is it based on the need for the area?
All right, great question. It varies based on the area. In fact, there could be some areas where we don't send a box, but we would send other things. In other words, we might send 20,000 mosquito nets, or we might send blankets, or we might send cooking things, or we might send lights. So it just depends on the area and what their particular need is that comes. Great question about what's in the box, what's distributed.
Next is just a comment. Rotary is not typically a first responder, so Shelterbox is a welcome answer to that question. Yes.
I agree with that statement. Yes.
Let's see here. I think we've got another comment here. At the district conference 2012-2013 for District 6690, we had a contest of 4 teams to see which teams could set up a tent in the least amount of time. I am proud to announce that the team of past district governors just completed the task 2 months ago. And yes, I did skip a question and it was just posted again. I apologize. How long does a tent last?
Depends on the area. You know, that's a good question. There was someone that had sent in a photo, about a month ago on the Shelterbox site of some tents that had gone back to some Central America things that happened back in 2006 or 7, and they look brand new. So it just depends on the area and the weather and so forth on there. If there were some of the earlier tents where we didn't have the repair kits and so forth on there, I would say that they're probably they would be pretty bad shape. But it just depends. I mean, if I would go on an average, I'd say probably it could be as long as 5 years or so with normal use and repairs and so forth.
Can
But
they be reused if they're in good shape?
Can they be used? Yes. And in fact, quite often, what many of folks in my position do is that when we're and we do change out equipment to our ambassadors out in the field. But what we do with the tents and things we have, we normally give a lot of those to the scouts for them to use for various things. So we have a lot of scouting units throughout the United States, particularly, and some in Mexico that are actually using some of the Shelterbox tents that have been, either have been used in a particular area or that an ambassador has had used and displayed and has upgraded or got a different one and given those out. So.
All right, so we got 2 questions. We're going to try to get both of these in before we get some announcements in. All right.
Okay.
How many ambassadors do we have in District 7770, and how do you become an ambassador?
Oh, great question. Okay. Right now, not counting myself, I have we have only 2 right now. I have Mary Gass, who wave your hand there, Mary, I see. And then I have Mark McLean down in the Bluffton area there. So those are the only 2 ambassadors that we have right now. How you become an ambassador is that if you will send me a note, send me an email, we'll get in contact with you. We have a little process that we go through, but would love to talk to you. We do have a couple of things I will say. We have the ambassadors who go out and do these programs like I'm doing here. And we also have club champions who agree to get our information that we send out on a monthly basis and to keep their club alert as to what's going on with the Shelterbox world. So there's 2 different ways that you can go. But if you're interested in that, you contact me and I'll be glad to reach out to you and get you pointed in the right direction and get you hopefully on board. Love to have you. We need more people.
We're going to do one more question and then I'm going to do some announcements. Herman, while I'm doing announcements, if you can post your contact information in the chat box.
I will do it.
Not right now, when we do some announcements. We got one more question for you.
Right, okay.
This is the last one. I don't know that you have a box nearby. I know that's a virtual background behind you. But each box is different. So give us an idea of what some things you'll find in a shelter box.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you will find a tent. You will find a cooking set. You will find a set of lights, normally about 2 that are in there. You will find, depending on the area, blankets. You will find floor covering. You will find a water filter system. You will find, could find a repair kit that's in there. You will find things for kids as well that will be in there. So. And mosquito nets, depending on the area, you could find mosquito nets and so forth in the shelter box.
Excellent, Herman. Thank you for coming on and talking.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
I'm going to do a few announcements as we close, but if you would post your information in the chat box for anyone interested. So, incoming presidents and anyone on the line, Now, you notice Herman is talking about Shelterbox. He happens to be wearing a Shelterbox shirt that has a Rotary logo on it. So my message is, when you're doing a service project, please don't forget to wear Rotary on your shirt. Now, if it's cold outside, they have sweatshirts. People wear Rotary vest. When we're out in the community, we want folks knowing that Rotary is doing the work. I love the analogy that if we were the Red Cross, you would know the Red Cross was doing the event, because everyone would have something with the Red Cross on it. So please do keep that in mind. Herman, way to represent. May 4th, that date should be on your calendar. That is the All Club virtual conference for this year. It will be May 4th from 6:15 to 8:15 p.m. on Zoom. Information will be coming out. This will feature a few speakers, a keynote speaker, and some awards. What I will say, I will not say the name of the keynote speaker, but if you're a football fan, we got you covered, and you want to be on the virtual district conference on May 4th, 6:15. You will hear from a local legend in South Carolina. So we're looking forward to it. And then last but not least, June 11th. What is June 11th? That is a Friday, and that is the Rotary golf tournament for our district up here in the Myrtle Beach area. Many clubs do golf tournaments, but this is a district-wide golf tournament on Friday, June 11th, and more information can be found inside DAC-DB. There is a question, and I'm so happy to answer this question, Christian. Russell Hampton is your source for all things Rotary gear. If you want a shirt, a hat, a bag, a tie, socks, pins, whatever you need with Rotary on it, just Google Russell Hampton, and they will take care of it for you. In fact, that shirt Mary's wearing was done by Russell Hampton. So,
Donald, can I make a comment about that?
yes.
Christian, we do have on the district website a little section called Rotary Gear, and it has some items that we have ordered through Russell Hampton. Keep in mind, if you go to them and it's something that you want to see your club order a lot of, if you'll contact me, I'll get you set up with the correct contact there. They will give back a percentage to everything that's bought through the Rotary Gear back to our district. It's not going to cost you any more, but we will get a percentage back to our district.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. I thought, when we are involved with Rotary Ready, if we would have a D7770 gear, that would be buying power for the district, and then we could really show that we support, for example, the vaccination efforts and stuff like that, instead of wearing our club gear.
Yes, we do. It's there. Some of the things haven't been put up, like the Rotary Gear items that we have. The Rotary Ready information that we have has not been put on the gear page, but we're going to get it put up there. So yes, please order through the Rotary Gear, and if you see something you like that you're going to send a lot of, let me know.
Thanks, Mary. Thanks, guys.
All right, folks, thanks for attending today. We'll see you next Monday for the next conversation with Rotary Action People. I will conclude with the Rotary four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill or better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great week. Thanks again, Herman. See you next Monday at 11 for the next conversations with Rotary Action People. Take care, folks. That's a wrap. Bye-bye.